is going to teach you what you need to know to get into product management and your possible career path into product management, and also career ladders to help you navigate once you finally land the role into product management. So for our learning outcomes today, we'll be looking at a product, what a product is, the product life cycle, the roles of a product manager, the core skills you need as a product manager, the tech tools every product manager typically interacts with, what an MVP is, career pathways in product management. So what we would not be talking about in this session, we wouldn't be having intensive training on how to use PM tech tools. That is quite diverse, so we can't cover it given the time frame for this session. We wouldn't be talking on how you can optimize your LinkedIn and CV for PM jobs. We wouldn't be having intensive training on roadmap creations. Epic story points acceptance criteria wouldn't be discussed. How to create surveys and conduct interviews, and basically just advanced PM topics that are not necessarily foundational topics. They wouldn't be treated in our conversation. However, what we would cover will be good enough for you to start off or kick off your interest in product management. A commonly asked question is, would we be getting the slides after this? So yes, you would get the slides. I would share it with CareerLeap and you would have a copy to go through once we're done. And before we start, I would love to inform you that this is an interactive session. So there will be times where I would need you to speak up so I can be sure that you're actually following through with what we're talking about. Okay, so let's start with what a product is. So what is a product? A product is just simply anything that is able to create value, anything that is able to solve a problem. So if, for example, if you go to physical products, you have something like a biro. Biros were made to solve the problem of not being able to document things on paper. We have things like stapler, for example. There must have been a problem to where people discover that you have a lot of papers that should be grouped together, but they are just flying all around, not bounded by anything. And someone came up with the idea to say, hey, you know what? I think we can create something that enables us to bind papers together. And so that was created. Staplers were created. We have so many instances of things that were created. A motorcycle was created. Why? Mobility from point A to point Z. So in the past, we had people walking, using their legs to trek, and transporting over long distances seemed impossible. Even when you had things like camel, transporting over long distances was either very tiresome or seemed almost impossible. So someone came up with the idea that, hey, look, let's come up with a technology that is able to create an engine, create a mobile device or a mobile automotive engine that can transport people, carry people from one place to another at a faster rate. And that's why we now have things like cars today. So for products, they are typically in two categories. It's either you have a tangible product, which is the case of what I just mentioned, cars, kitchen utensils, your biro. Those are tangible products. You can touch them, you can feel them, you can have a hold on them, you can buy them, you can own them. They become personalized. Then the second category of products, intangible products. So these are products that you can't really touch, but they are still solving a problem. So for example, this PowerPoint presentation I am delivering to you today, this is a product, right? It's owned by Microsoft. Microsoft came up with the idea that, people need to digitize how they communicate, how they share documents. Aside, like in the past, we had things like fax, where you have to fax a document from one place to another. Someone came up with the idea of an email. These are intangible products. You can see them, you can interact with them, but you can't essentially touch them. You can't own them. You can buy a license to use them, but it is never really your own property, okay? So those are examples of tangible and intangible products. And typically, when we're talking of product management, a lot of times we are focusing on intangible products, software products. But If I take you back to when product management began, product management actually began from physical products that we can see. So we have things like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, for example, they have the product managers in their company, right? These are people that they would, go customers, try to find out what customers want, they like what colors, Sometimes Coca-Cola comes up with different campaigns. They change the bottle cover, they are doing promos. Okay, if you open under the cover of this bottle, you would see a scratch and win. These are all things that were ideated or conceptualized or strategized by product managers. So product management is not essentially like a new scenario. No, it's just becoming more and more popular these days because there's been a rise in technology. And so we are now having need for a lot of software product managers. So now let me take you into the life cycle of what product management means, the life cycle of a product. So first of all, if you look at the graph to the right-hand side, you would see stage one, beginning of trying to create a product. You come up with an idea. Let's say you've done some research and you're like, oh, I think that hospitals today don't have proper centralized records of patient data. That is an idea. And it's possibly a problem. Like, oh, so you mean if I go to another hospital, I wouldn't be able to have the log of my history of health, what I've done on my health. So people like Hygia, all these HMO services, they discovered something like that. So that's like the discovery phase. You're trying to discover what's the problem in this field, what are the issues here. So when they discovered that problem, they came up with an idea that, oh, I think if we, bring up an application that is able to capture all the hospitals, we register hospitals under us, we're able to like have a history of patients records, whether they visited hospital A or hospital B, all this information, that's like the ideation phase. So that's like the stage one of where every product starts from. You come up with an idea, you try to discover, you try to validate your idea. Now we move to stage. All right.
The slides are not moving, ma.
Yeah, I'm on slide product and product life cycle. Can you see that?
No, ma, it's not moving.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I can see. Okay, yes, we're there now.
Okay, so let me just share that screen. All right, so thanks for the information. So yeah, stage one is the ideation and discovery, and then stage two is after you've done all this, your research, and you've validated that yes, truly, there's a problem here. People need, there's a possibility that people need this solution. Then you begin to develop your product. So you begin to create what the product looks like, the interface. Oh, we're going to design it this way. We're going to have this kind of users interact with this product. For example, Facebook, there's a place where you can interact, like check out your friends and all that. So the whole process of where the developers or your engineers build this product, that's where what is called the development phase. And for development phase, it's a continuous thing. So yes, it's for the life cycle, that's the next stage, but development doesn't end just after you first bring out a product. So something like Coca-Cola, for example, they are continuously getting information from customers to say, okay, what do you think is about this product? Should we change it? Are the users in Nigeria like this kind of product? What are their preferences? Should we bring a localized touch to what we are giving out? If you notice some drinks like Fanta, for example, if you go to a Western country, if you compare Fanta in Nigeria to Fanta in those Western countries, you will see that there's a difference. So there are some considerations that they are putting, like, oh, people in this country, they seem to like this. Let us do it this way. People in that country, they seem to like that. Let's do it this way. So that's development phase. Then the launching or introduction. Now you have finished developing your initial products. You want to now bring it to the market. You want to introduce it to the users. This is where you see people doing a lot of things like campaigns, social media awareness, posting, oh, we're about to release this product. Remember when we had threads coming up, how Mark Zuckerberg was was on the internet talking about trade, and before you know it, we had threads, and so that's like the launch or introduction. We are trying to put awareness out there because people don't know your product yet. So you have to put out information for users to know that, hey, we are bringing something that is going to solve a problem. And, now we are finally ready to launch it for you guys to use it. So that's stage 3. So stage 4, the growth phase. This is where you have now gotten initial users to use it, but you want more users because eventually every product eventually needs to make money. You now want more people to come and use your product. So you go out, begin to strategize. How do we get more people? These are all things that product managers do. Or how do we get more people to use our products? Go into the market, go and talk to users. What do you like? Put out more awareness, put out campaigns, whatever it is, just any activity that helps people to adopt and use your product. Then we go into the maturity stage. At this stage, you are trying to retain your customers. So for example, when Threads came out, there was this buzz that, hey, there's now going to be Threads and Twitter. Which one are we going to use? And when you have competition in the market, you have to struggle to ensure that your product remains relevant. You are maybe releasing out new features to see how to get more people to come into to use the product, or even the old users. You don't want them to leave, because if they leave, then it's bad for your product, right? And at this stage, people that get into this products that get into the maturity stage, you'll notice that they don't struggle too much to advertise their product. So for example, Instagram, Facebook. How often do you go on the internet and you see someone advertising Instagram or Facebook? They don't need to struggle at that phase, because like there's so much awareness out there. They know that people need this product. There's a market fit for this product. Everybody's aware, but however, they are now tweaking, bringing out new features. Okay, how do we get more users to use this? How do we, keep on optimizing and making sure we are still relevant in the industry? So that's your stage 5, the maturity stage. Then stage 6, decline. Some products eventually go into a decline phase, whereby a lot of users pull out, other users pull out. So an example of this phase is like, say there's been a change in technology. So let's, for example, you were using a solution that was, let's say a calendar planner, and you used it on Excel. You had it on your phone, you're using Excel. Then suddenly an application came up, or the people that initially created that Excel template for you, they discovered that we can make this in an application. We can use a better technology and sell this thing better. They can choose to like end that particular product and create a new sophisticated product. So for that particular product, we can say that, hey, it has gotten to this decline phase because users are no longer using the product. It is now outdated. It has been taken out of the market. No longer for you to download. That's the decline phase. I would like to ask if anyone here remembers O-Ride, O-Pays O-Ride. If you remember, please, you can signify. I might not be able to see my screen. Just try to signify. Okay, I can hear a buzz. So if you remember O-Ride, there was a time O-Pay introduced. In fact, that was their initial game plan to enter Nigerian markets. O-Ride, O-Cars. So they saw a problem that, well, we have a lot of workers that are on the mainland going to the island. These people need to get to work fast, and Okada seems to be a major business in Nigeria. So they went into O-Ride. They bought a lot of bikes, equipped a lot of riders, and everything. Even signed a contract with Lagos State government. Shortly after that contract, Lagos State government came up to say, hey, we are no longer accepting Okadas on the highways, And imagine what just that one decision of government did to that particular product. It killed the product. They eventually stopped the product. They went out of market. So there are some things that can affect your product when you release it. It could be changes in policies, processes. It could be change in technology, or maybe a decision, maybe the business is not doing well and you just decide, oh, it's not profitable, or possibly we didn't do enough research at the beginning to be sure that this product was going to hit the market, and then you just have to like kill the product. So that stage is possible, and it is really important that you watch out that you don't get into this stage. So as a product manager, you need to be aware of all these phases. When you join a company that you're managing a product for, you need to be aware of the phase where your product is in, and know the right strategy you have to implement, because each of these phase, they all have the right strategies to implement. So for example, if you are still on the ideation and discovery phase, you can't go out on the internet and be putting a lot of information to come and use your product. Even at the development phase, oh, come and use our product, use our product, when your product is not ready. So there are different strategies you would use at these different phases, and those are the kind of information you need to know as a product manager. So I've given examples of companies that fall within these different phases. So I'll just move on to the next slide. So please confirm if you can see the next slide.
No, ma, we can't see the next slide, ma.
I really don't know why we're having this. Okay, so
Yes,
I will just have to do that manually. I don't know why this is happening, but bear with me. This is how we're going to have the presentation today. Right, so we're going to the roles of a product manager. Who is a product manager? What do product managers do? What are their real responsibilities? So first of all, a product manager, or a PM, as I want to call, is someone who guides the product from ideation to implementation or to reality. So you are going to guide this product from the phase where it is an idea that is conceptualized. It doesn't necessarily have to be you who conceptualizes this idea. It can be the owner of a business. It can be you. It can be anyone. But the responsibility of the product manager is to take information from the person that got the idea, gather as much information, try to understand, validate the idea, take it through the development phase, take it through the growth phase to ensure that this product is, valuable. It's still delivering value. Remember, a product must be meeting users' needs. It must be delivering a value. So it's the role of a product manager to ensure that the product goes from the point where it becomes an idea to the point where it becomes a reality. So what are the major functions of a product manager? There are so many functions of a product manager, but in a nutshell, there are basically two. The first thing is to assess product opportunities, and the second is to define the product to be built. So you keep on, product managers are people that you always have to be on the internet, right? You always have to be aware of the things that are happening in the industry. So for example, someone that is product manager in, say, fintech, and you need to always go on CBN portal to see what are the changes that they are making. Because any change that they make, it could affect your product, it could affect the decisions you are taking. I remember the incidents that happened with it was Uber, right? Uber Eats between South Africa and Nigeria. So as a product manager, you have built a product. You said, oh, this product is meant to help people to transfer from point A to point B, to help people to get their food to their location. Then we now see something funny happening. Users are now beginning to weaponize your product. So as a product manager, if you are not online or you are not aware of things happening around you, the product will just go into a different phase and could cause problems. So that's why you have to be aware. And there are always going to be regulations. And we have industries that are highly regulated. For example, fintech industry, energy industry. There are so much regulations around this industry, so that if you are not always versatile with what's happening in the industry, you will end up violating these rules and you get penalized for doing it. There's no sorry, I didn't say it. You have to be constantly on the news to know what is happening in your industry. And is this information you use to guide yourself? So a product manager, you would be interacting with people, processes, and products. So people are the developers, the engineers, the designers, the quality assurance guy, the project manager, if that exists in the company, also marketing team. You'll be interacting with people because you need to hear from them. You are vetting the idea. You are guiding the engineers. Oh no, this is what the user wants. The engineers are quite technical. So if you are communicating with them and you don't communicate clearly, they will eventually build something for you, and it's not what your users want to use. So you need to be able to relate with people and have versatile skills in relating with them. Technical guys, they are not really people that want a lot of English, a lot of wordings. So you need to be able to know how to communicate with them. You need to be able to know how to communicate with your stakeholders, your CEOs, how to convince them that, oh, I think this is the next product we should build. You need to be able to communicate with the customer. Okay, you know, processes, things like regulations, you need to be very aware of them. You need to be conversant and versatile. Then product, you'll be using product to execute some of the tasks you are going to be doing, and also even the products that you manage. You need to be versatile with it, because as a product manager, you are like a first salesperson of your products. You should know the product in and out. You should be able to like tell anybody about the product anytime, be able to demonstrate the product to anyone at any time. So essentially, product managers, I just liken it to wedding planners at an event, at a wedding event. You have to ensure that the bride and groom, they are happy, which are your customers. You have to ensure that all the caterers, the decorators, musicians, they deliver their best. Those are your team members, your engineers and co. You have to ensure that, the budget and timeline are on point. So you have to monitor the time. We are supposed to deliver this product between let's say 3 months. You have to make sure that you are monitoring the progress of the product, and also making sure that you are working within budget, and eventually ensure that everything works together to have a successful product that people would actually use and people will be willing to pay for. So let me go to the slide. So some of the responsibilities of a product manager, these are not all the responsibilities, but some of the responsibilities of a product manager. Product strategy. So I spoke about strategy earlier on. At different phases of your product life cycle, you need to know the right strategy to execute. So as a product manager, you are the one responsible for defining what's the vision of this product. What are we looking at this product to do? What's the goal? What do we really want out of this product? Who are the target users? Are we targeting Gen Zs, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, or a combination of both? Are we targeting market women, for example? If you remember, a lot of us are familiar with Money Point and OP. If you go to the market, it was the point where we're doing economy, and banks like Money Point and OP, they became really popular then. They had POS everywhere in the market. Even if you go there today, you see them. Like before now, we couldn't transfer to market women. Why? Because when you transfer, you're not sure that the person is getting value. But Money Point and OP are common banks that saw like there's a problem here. Is it possible we send these people their alerts and eventually settle the money into their account? So even though the money has not settled, once that instant alert has been gotten, they are sure that they will get their money. So you need to know the target users. What do these people relate with? For example, market women, you can't be building something sophisticated for them. You give them POS, that is enough. In fact, you can't just take something like Facebook for business now. You now say you want to build that kind of complicated application for a market woman. It wouldn't work, it wouldn't sell. So you need to understand your target users. And that's the strategy you use to build the kind of app you are building. Let's make it very simple. These are people that, they don't really speak a lot of English. They can relate with things like POS because they are used to pressing calculators. So you need to understand who your target user is and the strategy you want to use to eventually go to market. How are we going to approach going to market? Awareness strategy. Are we going to do a launch? Are we going to so part of the strategies that Threads use, they use their CEO to talk about it because it's someone that had a high influence already and high social media presence. What strategies are we going to use to get people to come and use this product? Then we go into roadmap creation. So for roadmap creation, so on the right-hand side, I have something similar, an example of an application that a simple roadmap has been drawn out for. So the goal of this product at the beginning, you see extend user time in app. So these people are trying to make sure that they are extending the user's time in app. They want people to use the product and you actually use it, not just log in and exit. Then part of their strategy, they want to grow advertising market and part of the goals, they want to grow advertising market and restaurants. So it's for restaurants. They are trying to grow advertising market and restaurants. And also they want to enhance the user experience. So a roadmap is typically a direction of how a product will go. Like, what are you building right now? When are you building this? You know, just like timelines of what you plan out for your product. It could be a yearly roadmap. It could be a quarterly roadmap. It can be broken down into different timelines. So this product, for example, you can see now, next, and later. So when you are not so specific about the timeline, this kind of format works where you say, okay, right now, we want to create user profiles, we want to create a map of the cuisines, we want to create restaurant reviews. Later in the future, we are looking at creating, okay, the next after this now, we are looking at creating auto pop search, user reviews and recommendations, to search by city, customer support, and then much later, we want to start putting social media APIs so people can now like link us on social media from the application. They can share it with friends. So we, like how you can share a post from your Instagram to WhatsApp, so you can share with friends. You can user expertise rating, and then open table API. So this is like a simple roadmap for someone that is doing an application for restaurants, to be able to see restaurant reviews and be able to like check out restaurants online. So one thing you have to know about a roadmap is dynamic. It is never fixed. I gave you the example of O-Ride and Oka. So at the beginning, let's say at the beginning of the year, they had planned, okay, so we'll start with this phase. We're going to now build the application for bikers. We're going to get people on board, get the bikers on board, equip them with bikes, motorcycles. We're going to sign off contracts with the government, and then we're going to start using the app. After the initial phase, maybe we're going to be having ratings for drivers and all that. Someone has already drawn out that roadmap. And then suddenly, government comes and says, we are banning this. You wouldn't say because there's a roadmap, you have to follow that roadmap. You know, that's why you have to be conversant to things that are happening. Once there are changes in the industry that directly affect your decisions, you have to quickly make adjustments and say, okay, now we have to go back and change. In some cases, you can have plan Bs, which is always a good idea. So you could have an initial roadmap, and you can have plan B you can fall back to. As O-Ride failed, OPay immediately went into the fintech industry, and that's where they are now presently dwelling and dominating. So you have to be flexible in your roadmap. You can't say that, okay, because I've created a roadmap, we have to follow it. No. So it's a document that changes. Over time, you'll be getting feedback from users, feedback from stakeholders. You have to go back to this roadmap and look at it and say, okay, let us change the priority of how we have said we are going to execute this application. Let's change it because of the changes, because of new user requests, which are urgent. We now have to change it. So stakeholder management too. You're going to have to collaborate with a lot of people as product manager, and especially your customers, especially your internal customers and your external customers. Internal customers are your teams. You have to ensure that you are collaborating and communicating effectively with them, carrying people along on the plan, let them know the idea, let them know what we are building, why we are building it. You know, they need to be even your customers, because you could be building something, and if you're not interacting with your customers, you might just what you think. So if you're not communicating with your customers, you will think that, and actually what you built be actually nice, but because you were not interacting with your customers, you didn't validate that idea. So you need to be able to manage stakeholders, get information from stakeholders. As a product manager, you're more like a customer's advocate, the user advocate. So you come to your engineers and be like, no, this thing you have built, the people we are targeting, they wouldn't be able to use it, or this idea you are proposing to execute, the kind of people I'm targeting, they would not be able to use it. These are the kind of people that we are targeting. So for example, I remember working with people who are salespeople. So salespeople, like these people that they're like go-to-market salespeople. They go into marketplaces, they like sell all these spice. And so when I'm like, why not do it like this? I'm like, hey, these people will not be able to use this kind application you want to build, if this is what you are building, they wouldn't be able to use it. They are very, very low technology. So if you're not making this thing simple, there's no point even going into it. So you are more like an advocate for your customers because you are the one that really understands your customers. Then problem solving, you need to be able to solve customers' problem. Customer will give you a problem. You want to translate that into what solution that can give. So let me go into the next slide. Okay, so now we are at the point where we just take a break and get into that. So this is the session. So I would like to ask, if you were to build an app to solve a problem in Nigeria today, what would it be and why? And then secondly, how would you go about it from ideation? So try to think this, and if you are ready to this result, so that we get comments from people. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can hear you.
We didn't get the question.
So the fundamentals of product management. See how a product manager is to identify a problem and solve it, and how to like plan the from ideation to execution or to launching of the product. So my question now is, if you are to build an application to solve a problem in Nigeria, what would it be and why? So how would you go about it? Point of launch. Hello, are we still together? Please speak up. I can't hear anyone. Yeah.
Okay, Ma, we have somebody's hand raised. Mr. Peter Adi.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Be phase one. It's supposed to be phase one. It's supposed to be phase one.
Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay, the question is, for instance, if you want to build an app for a problem or identify in Nigeria, how do you go about it? I think that was your question, right?
Yes.
Okay, to me, and based on what you said now, first of all, you need to identify a particular problem in Nigeria. Then, after identifying that problem, you go into planning. You plan from the beginning to the execution point. Then, with those information, you were able to arrive at the process of your planning. You can identify with the person that can help articulate this problem in a way that it will be accessible and it will tailor in line with the problem identified and how to get the result at the end of the whole thing. Then by so doing, I think the problem identified can be addressed.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. My name is Emmanuel Friday. I think the best thing here for me, the best app I will create is an app, and it's an avenue where farmers, like local farmers, can maybe have to sell their products online without them having to take it to the market. Okay, just because of price differences, they have to not pay another money to shift it back to like shift it back to their various homes. That's spending of too much money that they basically don't have. So if there's an app that okay, they can place those products online where customers can see them, okay, and like have their prices each on them, and just inquire for it before taking it to them or to the market. I think it will solve a little problem due to the one that's just what I like. That's the app I will create if I have like the chance to create any app.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So let me just throw in the comments. Remember what I said about market women and their level of technology understanding and usage, and
Yes, ma'am.
why we have to use POS. So if you are creating an app for farm, you also need to consider that too. Do you understand where I'm trying to go to? You need to understand the
Yes.
user. Are
Yes.
the
True.
users high or low technology users? They have phones
Oh,
with them. Do they have sophisticated phones? What kind of phones those farmers typically use? So those are the kind of things as a product manager you need to research and find out. Possibly go to the market farm yourself and find out. Do these people have phones that can download applications? Are they still using Nokia 3310? We
wow.
understand. So it's a good
Yes, ma'am.
problem. It's a problem, yes. Then before you go into the development and all that, you need to do all those research as a product manager.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
Okay,
very,
so
very
just
much,
one
ma'am.
more. You're welcome. One more suggestion, then we move on. Yeah?
Okay,
Yes, I
Mr.
can hear you, please.
Rescue Archibald.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, yeah, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
okay.
afternoon. Oh, we have a lady's voice. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Anyone can.
Okay. I think one of the problem I can also identify in Nigeria is I think online, since I'm a pharmacist, I think online pharmacies that a doctor can just prescribe a particular drugs and people just use their app, order for the drugs. And then I think one of the strategies I'm going to use is to assemble the right team, solicit for the right ideas, and then see how I can get some opinion from people outside to do that.
All right. So we had a lady that wanted to speak, so please go ahead.
Can I should go ahead then?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, hi. My name is Okachi. Something that I've been thinking about for the longest time is something I gradually just called second opinion. At the moment, a lot of people have left the country and moved on to other places. And interestingly, the UK has very, very much absorbed a lot of our medical personnel. But a lot of times when you go to hospitals in Nigeria, there's always that there's a lack of manpower essentially to work on your complaints. And even the doctors, I can't remember the statistics, but I think it's one doctor to almost 1,000 patients or something like that. But something I was thinking about was how can we develop, it doesn't have to be an app, like from the basic of iteration, it could just be an initial workflow whereby people who have gone to hospitals are not very comfortable with the feedback they've gotten from hospitals because a lot of the doctors are overwhelmed and not doing the right thing. They can reach us on an app and ask a doctor in other countries, oh, this is my diagnosis. What's your opinion on this? What problem am I trying to solve? There is that gap that a lot of doctors right now in Nigeria have because of the constraints that they have. A lot of times they are not giving the right information or they're so overwhelmed, they mix up things a lot of the time. So just trying to solve-ish that problem of errors due to negligence. Yeah, pretty much. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you've spoken up to a problem and you've also suggested solutions. So yeah, those are problems that as a product manager working in the healthcare, it could be something that you may want to look into. And also, when we go into the core skills of a PM, you would learn more about the approach to take while looking into these things. So there's one one thing is to identify a problem, another is to be able to approach to solving it. So move on, but please, before we move on, give me a minute. I need to just adjust my mic.
Hello, I'm at the gate, estate gates.
Okay, please, can you drop it with them because I'm not there at the moment?
Okay, maybe you call them so that I will drop them.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm calling from Block 88, Flat 2. Block 88, Flat 2.
Hello, my Favour, you are muted.
Miss Kadri, okay.
Hello, ma, you are muted actually.
Yeah, I think she's busy. I think she's busy.
Thank you, Mr. J. Miss Kadri, if you can hear us, we had to mute you to protect information, ma. Please unmute yourself when you're ready, ma.
Or can someone try omitting her? Let's see. Maybe she don't know what we're talking about now. Let's see if she's done. If she's not done, then we can like at least meet her back.
Okay, please, Mr. Dave, just be patient. We're trying to reach out to her already, okay? So we don't make the class
Alright.
too rowdy. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, come.
Let's just be patient.
All right, yeah.
All right, thank
Okay,
you. Mr. Dave, please unmute your mic. Please mute your mic. All right, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry I had an urgent call to attend. So going on to the core skills of a PM. So we're going to look at as a product manager to be able to like how you are doing the right thing at the right time, ensure you stay competitive in the market or in the industry you've chosen to work in. So the first one is your market research. So you have to understand the market you're going into. So for example, someone spoke about health. You need to be able to understand trends currently, what's happening, what's government saying about it, what are the changes, is there AI coming into it now, you know, what are the technologies that are being adopted into this industry at the moment, who are the competitors that exist in the market, what are they doing, what can we do better. So someone like, and you know, came to mind, which is my party. I know there was when my party came out, there was so much awareness. You can like reach out to a doctor, you can do that and all that. So you also have research. This idea I have, am I the first person to have it? Are there other people that already have this idea and are already solving it? What is their market strength? What's their share of the market? Have they covered a lot of ground in the market? So for example, let's look at Microsoft and Google. It's almost as if these two users or these two companies, they seem to be doing similar things, you know. as Google is moving, Microsoft is moving. As Microsoft is moving, Google is moving. Even though they are all similar problems, they are to it. So some people might say, "Oh, I want to use Google Sheets for my work because I can easily access it everywhere." And someone else might be like, "Oh, Microsoft is more sophisticated. It has a lot of formulas. It's more tech. I can analyze a lot of data with it." So all these are like things you out for when you're doing your competitors research. Search out for. So if, for example, I want to build an application that works with Sheets, you search out for who are the people in the market at the moment, who are the top players, who are people within my space that I can say, oh, yeah, these are senior competitors that I can also compete with. You have to do all those research and ensure that you have enough information before you start. And there's one thing you want to ensure you do while you're doing all this research. You want to make sure that you are finding out one pain point that these your users have not yet solved that you want to solve. For example, money points and OPchain. That it's people you transfer, they're debited immediately. So they discover that if we can solve this problem, there are a lot of users that are waiting for this problem. There's a problem, there's a pain point that exists, and if we're able to quickly solve this, then we'll be able to gain good market share. And they went with that approach and were able to gather a market share. So we want to be able to help you position yourself once you're into the industry. And it requires heavy internet. You have to even once you could people's application. It goes as far as that when you discover you understand the reason for and check them out the internet. What are you saying on the news about them? Weak points are customers complaining on their product. What are the customers complaining about? Because get a hold of that information. It can even help you to know what are the pain points you need to address. So, 2 billion they want to go to customer discovery. We want to understand the kind of customer. So for example, we are building a social media application. For example, let's say TikTok. Who are the users? Who are the people that are most likely going to use this? Are we looking at the Gen Z? Okay, so the users are Gen Zs. What else? What other properties do these people have? Gen Zs that are sociable. So it's not just regular Gen Zs, because there are some Gen Zs that are not on TikTok. So you are building that product for people that want to connect, people that want to socialize, people that are confident enough to put their life out there. Everyone is confident enough to put their life out there. So your target audience, you have to now begin to actually define your user. And you can only know that by interacting and asking questions from these users. So, and to do this, you have to do things like surveys, send out surveys to people that you feel might be target users for this application, get information from them on what their preferences are, what they like, what they want, if they are willing to use that kind of application, So when you gather all this information from users, you begin to come up with a persona, like, okay, this kind of application, this is the target user group that we are looking at, age group that we are looking at. These are their characteristics, their behavior, and that will help you, even on the interface, the kind of design you want to build. That will help you determine all those things. Sorry, it's up your hand. Okay, that will help you determine all those things, because having a good understanding of the kind of users that will use your application will help you to build what they would like, the kind of things they would like. Then communication, key across everything you are doing. You also have to communicate clearly and effectively, and also even documenting communications, because you would have times where you have meetings with stakeholders, you're trying to get information from them, what they want, what they like, what they struggled with. You need to be able to communicate with them and also document this communication, because from this information you would use to be able to say, okay, these are the things that these users want, these are the things we want to put, things we need to correct. Their thinking. As a product manager, you have to work with data. So you get data from, sometimes you get from your application. Applications are typically connected to, that's your products are connected to applications that, you can see the number of people that use your applications. If you see, if you use Spotify or another music application, you see at the end of the your final year report. Okay, this year you spent this number of hours listening to music. This were your favorite artists and all those are like physical information. Even you as a product manager, you need to know, because it will help you to understand the kind of. So, for example, I have a user that spends like 6 hours or 10 hours in a day to listen to cool music. So, as a product manager, I can say that, wow, if this person is listening to this kind of music for so long in a day, that means the application should be able to suggest this kind of music to this person, because I've come to see that this person likes this kind of things. So understanding data and user behavior is very important, because it will also help you and guide you in the kind of strategies that you are putting out there for your product. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So we'll just look at a case study. So for this case study, I'll be asking a question: why do Nigerians love affordable mobile data? Let's go back to many years back. Let's say at least 10 or maybe even 20 years back, when we had data was quite expensive. Right? Data was not as cheap and easily available as it is today. So there was a need at that point in Nigeria. Like, internet access was needed for people to work and also for entertainment and just like staying connected, because Facebook was a major thing then. So you need internet to be able to access this application, stay connected, do your work and that. And then the problem at that point was that data plans were quite expensive. Maybe you have to like load like maybe 20K or I can't remember how much it was then, but it was quite expensive. We didn't have cheap plans then. And so having an understanding of this, that, in Nigeria or maybe even the world, they need internet for people to stay connected and feel like they have a sense of belonging to their environment. But now they are not able to really do this because data is expensive. So telecoms companies like MTN and Glo and Airtel and the rest, they sat down and thought, okay, how can we make data easily available to Nigerians, so that they can keep on enjoying the need. They can keep on enjoying the complete net, and they came up with different ideas. The first one I remember was this night call, free night calls, MTN to MTN. Those days, I used to call my classmates then. We would speak for like an hour or 2 hours. We used to wait for like 12 midnight to make those phone calls, and then we could speak for 2 hours. It was just like when something is free, like, free. And do you know the strategy they were using then? The strategy to get a lot of people to buy their SIMs. Because if you are not an MTN to MTN customer, you don't get that benefit. So they came up with this solution, but any solution you are coming with, you also have to it has to be backed up with a strategy. What are we trying to achieve with this strategy or this solution we are giving? Then another one they came up with was affordable night browsing. So see, the data rates we drop at night. We have people that are watching series then. A lot of people are watching series. They wanted to be the preferred choice of service provider when it comes to internet, because then you could stay out from like 12 midnight to 10 into the next morning, 12 to 5. I think there was a time between 12 to 4, 12 to 5 where that data rates were quite cheap. So you stay online that period, watch your series as long as, and then when it's morning, you just like off or whatever. Then after that, they also identified another. Let's say people like our people that have small kiosks, they don't really have high data needs. They don't have a lot of need on data, but like they they still wanted to have access to internet connection. So they came there, let's create small plans for these guys. Small price, small money, very affordable. They can just use it to do major things. And I think there was one that MTN even had where you can browse Facebook for a very either a very low rate or cheap or free. I can't remember. But all those were like little products that they were putting out there. It seems like a solution, but it was actually a product because you have to access your something you can touch. It was like a digital product. So they sold it out as their services and their plans to people, and people bought into it, and they gained a lot of users and all that. So why did this work? First of all, they understood the customers that they were targeting. They segmented customers. We have customers that want small plans. They don't have a lot of money, but they can pay for this cheap, and their need for internet is not. So they segmented customers into different buckets. Okay, the ones that want to watch Netflix, or no, we didn't really have Netflix then, but like all these videos that you like watch series and all that, the ones that want to download on uTorrent, that would like stay awake in the night to do all that, they segmented those guys. The ones that want to talk for long, they segmented all these users, and they were able to identify solutions to like reach out to these guys, and those people bought into it. Then also the market research, they understood their user behaviors. Like they saw, like I said, you have to be able to understand and interpret data. There was high surge of usage of data at night. So what are people doing? Then they will go into the data. This surge of data, what is it? What is the major component? Is that listening to music? People are watching videos. So they'll also check out that data. And once they're able to like process the data, then they can interpret to say, okay, this is the solution based on the data we have and we have seen. We've noticed this trend and pattern. This is the solution we want to give these people. And then it would sell because they are coming with facts, not with assumptions. And finally, they were at the pain points at that time. So, understand your users, understand the pain points, and localized behaviors or segmented behaviors of users. You'll be able to create a successful product. So let me move to the next slide. So on this next slide, we are looking at product management tools for the tools that product managers work with. So the first one is to manage tasks and to track progress of tasks. So you are going to, in some cases in an organization, you have a project manager that essentially assigns tasks and like maybe monitors timelines and all that. In some other occasions, and a lot in Nigeria, you get to that product managers and where most parts they are also the ones monitoring the tasks and timelines. So for that, there are certain tools you can use. So we have something like Jira, Trello, Asana, ClickUp. So here, these tools, they're actually free. They all have their free versions to use. So you have to test it out to see, okay, this is how this thing works. And if you want more advanced features, you can also pay for it. But to give you the basic understanding, you can use their free trial plans to be able to get a feel of what it looks like. Then attached here is a YouTube tutorial. So I'll just try to navigate to another screen. Next, please. Let me see if I can share this with a different system, because the cursor is not moving very fast. So let me share this with a different system. Give me 1 minute. So I what it looks like to be able to the tool for managing tasks and tracking progress. Then there's also a tool for documentation. So often you would have things, you would have to take down user requests, you have to take down how the product is defined, because that's part of the roles of a product manager, defining the product, take down in that your engineers and other stakeholders in the company can use it. So for that, you need a tool to document all this doing. And we have like Notion and also Conference that can help you to process or document all these activities. So here, the link, if you click on the link, it's going to take you to Notion and create an account, or Conference, create an account, and then there's also additional videos where you can learn more about it and just begin to use it. Okay. So let me join in with my second device. It's taking a little time. Okay. So okay. I think that's finally worked. Okay, so I've joined.
Hello, ma.
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay, ma. The line is sort of breaking. I don't know if it's a network issue from your end, but there's a distortion in the background.
Okay, is this still there now? Stopped.
Yes. Can you say something so I can reconfirm?
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, it's better.
All right. So let's look at one of the tools that we can use for managing tasks. So typically, when you're interacting with members, you will use like Jira or ClickUp or Trello. There are so many of them, and if you can use one, you can actually use any other one, just similar. So let's say you sign up. Well, I might not be able to use it because I don't have a work email. Okay. Okay. So when you sign up, you put in email address and click on next. So let's just wait for that. Okay, so then just the regular request, you have to put in your details like the email address, your name, or let me just continue with Google. That might be faster. So Google already has all my details, and I don't have to verify all those personal details again. So yeah, it's loading. Continue. Okay. Sorry, am I still audible? I saw someone's comment in the net in the.
Yeah, it's the network. I think that's there's a network fluctuation from your end, ma.
Okay. Let's see if I can position my internet. Okay, so once you sign, well, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, so once you sign up your account on ClickUp, it's going to ask you, what would you like to use ClickUp for? So let me just say work. And then it will try to get your preferences. What would you like it to use it for? IT, how did you hear about us? Just put it in, invite people, I'm done. You don't need to invite people at this phase, I'm done. Do you use any of these tools? So some of these applications, you can also communicate or bring in other tools you use. So I will just click on next. I'm not interested in that for now. What features are you interested? Okay, let me just click on tasks and projects. Then finish. So this is how you set up your ClickUp account. So it's going to take some time to load the background and give us what we want. So essentially, when you assign tasks, so you create tasks for your developers. Let's say you are building an application that helps people to order for food, and you've created a task to say, okay, this developer create a screen where people can place their orders, for example. So just come here. This is just a brief introduction. It's actually more detailed than this. You can go through the YouTube videos. So you can on the top right hand side, add task. Click on add task. Then you call it. You say, let's say, create screen to order. You can put in description. Example, let's say you have a link, you can put it in, or you have an image, you can put it in. So let's just copy out a link. Put in your link. And it's on the, so there are different tasks. You see to do, in progress, complete. So now when you are creating it, of course, because someone has taken up the task, you put it on to do. Assignee, if I had other people in the organization, I can assign it to someone else. So in this case, I'll just click on me. Due date, set the due date. Let's say the due date for this task is on next week, Friday. You set that time. Then priority, you can decide to choose a priority for it. Let's say this is an urgent task. Tags. You can let's say this is food ordering. Can just create a label for it to tag that particular task, and then you create a task. So once you have created it, you'd see your task will come here. By default, it comes up with all these tasks. You can choose to delete them or edit them as in this case. Let me just delete those tasks. I do not need them. They are not just for anything. So now we have tasks. So someone is supposed to, let's say one of the engineers is supposed to create screen to order food. And let's say today is like Monday or Tuesday. And up the task and is already working on it. And open up the task and move it to in progress. So you click on this status and take it to in progress. Once you do that, it has moved from to do to in progress. On the top hand side here, you can see a board view, a calendar view, Gantt chart. You know, all these are board views. We'll not really touch them here. So, but let me move to the board view. So you can see to do, in progress, and complete. So you can add another task here and put it as a to do task. It will come up here. So you keep on adding tasks like that, and as they are progressing, you can move it to the status. So let's say this person is now finally done. You move this progress forward to complete. And once you do that, it appears under this complete column. So you would most likely be interacting with things like this. Maybe you have written your requirements. Okay, I want you to create an app that does this and that. And then you have to like use it to like track what the engineers are doing. There's also calendar view and Gantt view. Let's So calendar, you'll be able to have a calendar view of the things that are happening, when they ought to happen, and the times. That task was for, sorry, what's that screen? I have zoomed in. So on the right hand side, you can see overdue 0, unscheduled 0. And I think I put the task for, can't remember the dates. Friday. Okay, due date is Friday. So today is Saturday, and scroll down. It's taking a while to move. So let me just see what's inside Friday. So I think you can, from here, you can also add tasks. You can create a task here. The Gantt chart is ideally supposed to show you how long it takes to complete that task. To give you like a view. So for example, this project 100% complete. So at Deepin, I had a lot of tasks. You would see it represented here. The ones that are to do will be gray color. The ones that are in progress will be yellow color, and the ones that are completed will be green color. So it just like give you an overview of what is happening in the projects that you are working on. So that's what you use this kind of tool for. Then the other one is Notion. So I've opened Notion here. I'll just continue as myself because I have an account already with this email address. So continue as Favour. It's going to load. Notion has like a lot of templates that you need you might want to reference as a product manager, maybe a roadmap template, a product requirements document template, whatever it is, you get a lot of things with Notion. So let me see an example of a template that I can open up here. So to the left-hand side is more like the menu template. You use it to like navigate and like open up tasks. So let me open this. This is a social media calendar. So social media content planner, you can use it to actually plan content. You can use it, you can embed documents into it. You can like put another bar here where you put like different sublinks. I'm looking for, I have a lot of templates here. Not quite sure where they are here. I think here, let's see. Okay, so let's say we just want to create a new page. So you click on this button here, create a new page. Let's say we attended a meeting, a stand-up meeting with some people, engineers, most likely. We can call it stand-up meeting for 18-01-2025. Then you can put a cover if you want. It's not compulsory, but like you can make it look fancy, put a cover, write something else. So this backslash, see, it's going to give you suggestions. If you use this backslash, it's going to tell you what you can put. You can put a heading, you can put a bullet point, you can put numbered list. So let's say we put a heading to say heading 1, discussions. So you press on enter to go to the next line. So you can just like have a typing of all the discussions all of you had, and you go to the next line and say, okay, let's talk about action points. So another heading, action points. Then when you use this backslash, it's going to bring out suggestions. Again, you can say to-do list. So Samuel is to design screening to order food. Joe is to build APIs to order food. Let's say Michael is to implement the design and APIs. So this can just be like a summary of your discussion that you've had. And you can come back to the document and like tickets to be like, okay, if this person is done with the task, you can click on it and say, okay, this person is done, this person is done. You know, it's actually quite flexible, and in some cases I've seen where people use Notion to do their what we did with ClickUp to do in progress and done. You can have all of that on Notion. So it's a rich tool for documenting and for so much more. I think the templates are under this more. So let me see. This is a template that I can just use. So with Notion, you get a lot of templates. So for example, this is a template somebody created and shared, made public. So if you start your PM journey and you're like looking for headways, like a guide on how to help you create documents, you can check out Notion. They have a lot of templates. So you can see it's guiding you, first of all, what are the problems and objectives of this product, who are the stakeholders, the team and collaboration, the product overview, the risk and plan, the go-to-market plan, things to do and next steps. You know. So this is just one sample of their product requirement document that you can easily adopt, and you can download it for free and customize it and use it for yourself. So that's an overview of Notion and ClickUp. So I'll stop sharing and move on to the other screen where I was presenting so that we can move forward. All right, so for more advanced training, you can just refer to the YouTube links linked in this document. So we are going into the minimum viable product. What is a minimum viable product? It's just simply the small your product. So for example, if you remember when Threads came out, they tried to imitate Twitter. We all were familiar with Twitter. If you are looking at the kind of strategy they used, so there's a strategy sometimes product managers use when they see that there's an application that exists already and you are trying to also come into that market, you try as much as possible to make sure that your design and the interface that people will be interacting with is somewhat similar to what people are already used to. Because if you want to create something so different, sometimes the users will struggle to adjust. So you see Google Sheets and Microsoft Sheets, Excel Sheets, those two spreadsheets, they have similar characteristics, similar functions if you use two of them, because these people understand that someone is already in the market and people are already used to how they are doing things. So if we are breaking our products, we don't want to make it so different that the users will struggle to adopt it. So when Threads came out, they didn't have things like retweet or retreading a post. There were so many features that were lacking. But at that point, they were like, we are ready to push this market, push this product to the market. People would use it. It doesn't have all the features that our competitor Twitter has, but it has the basic features that can allow them to at least use it. So for example, they didn't have things like searching for maybe hashtag or trending topics in your locality, but what they had at that point was enough to go to market. So if you are waiting as a product manager, if you have an idea and a problem you want to solve, and you want to wait to solve the entire problem before you push your product to market, you might just find out that by the time you're sending that product to market, it doesn't have value anymore, or the user's interests have changed. So you have to be able to identify what are the basic needs out of all these so much problems I'm looking at. What are the basic things that immediately they can begin to use it, and then we can go ahead to keep on improving. So that's why you see some products that we have like version 1, version 2, version 3, because as they are putting out the products in market, they are learning from the users. Okay, what are the other things you need to do? What are the other things we need to include in this product? And as they are getting that information, then they begin to improve the product. So we have an example of an expense tracker app with just 3 features. You can add an expense, you can categorize an expense, maybe feeding, school fee, or whatever, and then you can view your total. But if you look at an expense tracking app, you might want to be able to see your history. I want to be able to see the history of all my expenses, the ones I logged in. I want to be able to filter by month. I want to see what happened in this month. But at the MVP stage, you might not have all those features like in the MVP. You might just have only these basic things, and then as time goes on, you begin to improve and begin to add all those features together. So that is really what an MVP is. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So now let's have a little bit of interactive activity. So you would, okay, give me a minute, let me increase the size of this. All right. I'm on slideshow, but I noticed that it doesn't present that way on the screen. So let's have a little interactive activity. So first of all, brainstorm and define an MVP to solve a problem in Nigeria. And let's, an example, you want to reduce food wastage in local markets. So you've noticed that you've seen a problem, you've identified a problem, you've identified the users and the people that interact and the target users for that problem or solution you want to come up with. So the problem is there's so much food wastage in local markets. How do you want to reduce it? So what will be your application's name? What is your MVP idea? What are the 3 key features you would be releasing if you want to create an application and just release out the MVP? So let's take interactions from people. Please don't use ChatGPT. Just think and come up with your own original idea. So yeah, if you want to speak, kindly go ahead to unmute your mic or raise your hand. Hello. Can you still hear me?
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you. So please, yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah, go ahead. The person, anyone raising up their hand, please go ahead. I cannot hear the speaker. Good afternoon. Yes, please. Yeah, good afternoon. I can hear you.
Can I go then? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you put the screen back on? Sorry, I think I lost a bit of the questions there.
Okay, give me a minute, please. I don't know why this screen is. Okay. Let me just read out the question while the screen is still. My screen is adjusting.
Okay. Yeah, I think the first one that was on there is what's the name of the app?
Yeah.
So maybe the app name could just be cheap buys or something like that. Name that the Nigerian market is very price sensitive. Then what is the MVP? The problem statements focus around food waste in local markets. So before investing in anything, I think one good way would be to go around local markets and give market women some form of incentive to give you goods that are, I don't want to say almost going bad, but are almost out of their shelf life. Because one major thing is it will always sell that for you cheaper. I know that at the moment, is it Chowdeck or there's one other app that does, they call them misfit goods. To goods that are almost out of their shelf life. So you can gather that from the market women at a cheaper price. And the minute you become irregular with them, they would want to give you those goods because you're sure that you're always going to buy these things from them. Then you can find your way to connect it to a good way, I think, for the MVP might be to connect with already existing partners that like the example that I gave, I think it's Go Lemon that does what we call misfits. So you could become their supplier of misfits goods within that space as your somewhat MVP. Instead of building anything for yourself, just build on or work with already what has already been built. For the 3 key features, yeah, that's where, because I've already talked about partnering with someone, I don't know if I want to have features, but essentially, if there's a way that is not, and this is where maybe even like a USSD can become helpful, because market women, or no, a key feature could just be the market women calling you when they have a buildup of goods that are almost out of their shelf life. So like it contacts you something. Yeah, I'm a bit stuck with the 3 key features with the way I've gone, or the way I've created this narrative. But yeah, that's what comes to mind, because it means you put local markets. I could almost tell that, yeah, building anything really tech focused might be a bit tricky with apps. But yeah, that's basically my rundown real quick.
All right, thank you very much. So at the top of my head, I'll say maybe a place where market women can like register their goods, or maybe an inventory part where they can select goods and like put quantity and post. Then
Yeah,
maybe for the people that want to also buy, for them to be able to like
indicate
see it
interest.
and also come like to view it. So not necessarily to register, can view it and then come to the market to buy, because we don't want to be doing, because of the kind of user that we're considering, we might not necessarily want to be doing the online purchase. So it might just be a viewing part for the person that is interested, and to be able to just select. So maybe the app already have like registered inventory of all those kind of things they sell, and they just select and put available. So I think that would be an MVP phase or something like that. So thank you. Yeah. Next person, please. Someone's hand is raised, so she can unmute and speak. Okay. So I can only hear sound from your background. I'm not sure I can hear you speak. Okay, so is there any other person that would want to answer this question? All right, so let's move on to the next slide. I think I figured out why the slide wasn't moving, so it's moving now. So let's talk of career pathways in product management. So essentially, coming into product management, either you're coming in as someone who is like new in the entire workforce industry, maybe you have 0 to 2 years experience, or you're someone who has more than 0 to 2 years experience and you're trying to transition into product manager. So typically as an entry level role, would have roles like associate product manager, owner, or volunteer product managers. So these are like beginner roles. You're not given as much responsibility as that of a product manager. So a product manager is mostly responsible for like carving out the vision, carving out the strategy and all that. For an associate PM, you might just be assisting with like maybe customer research, assisting to develop user stories, following up with the engineers, all that. A product manager will be doing more of the strategy task. However, in Nigeria, associate PM, product owner, volunteer PM, whatever, you might find out that you are the one really doing all of these things. So if you are not, especially when you're working with a startup, you might not have the flexibility of a lot of team members in the organization. So it might just be one person who is this responsibility, but still an entry-level role. And on courses and certifications, there are so many courses on LinkedIn, Udemy, Coursera, wherever you want to get courses from. It's as you are taking these courses, it's always good to read articles on the internet so that you can relate to what is really happening in the real world. Because sometimes when you're taking courses, they don't really practicalize product manager's role. And if you could get someone that is actually a product manager that you could be speaking to and asking questions to have more ideas about product management, it will be better. So this is like before or during where you've gotten your product management role. So either you are not yet in the sector and you're trying to get it, you need to equip yourself with a lot of learnings and resources. Join things that could be helpful. We have WhatsApp communities that can be helpful, like people interact, webinars and all that, where you get information and you have more real life experience or exposure to things that are happening with product managers. So the ladder is typically you start from either an associate PM or a product owner, and you graduate into a product manager. Then, depending on the size of the company and how big the product is, you can grow into senior product manager, then director of product, VP of products, and eventually chief product officer. So there's like a chief level for product management. So there's actually a clear and good career path within product management. So for people who are transitioning, you still have to go through the whole getting learnings and trainings, joining communities and all that. But there are some things you need to bear in mind as a transitioner. Sometimes people might feel like, oh, your skills do not really meet up with like what the company wants to do or what the product manager should do. So you also need to equip yourself with a lot of information. You need to network. It's quite important to network. Attend meetups with people or with managers and communities where they have meetups. It's good to attend meetups, attend webinars, leverage your transferable skills. So if you've worked in things like places like marketing, engineering, customer service, there are always skills you can transfer. But if someone who is marketing, you already have ideas of strategy, marketing strategy. You can bring it into your product management CV to say, okay, I executed go-to-market strategies for this particular product, or I executed strategies to take this product to market. For an engineer, you do a lot of planning, you do a lot of, you work with facts, you work with data. You can bring up those skills, to say, I have relevant skills to be able to transition into product management, backed with the courses and the learning and experience you've been getting. Customer service, very important. You need to be able to users, customer research. You can bring up the skills to say that, I have skills that are quite relevant for this role. So there's never a time that if a company is really looking out for value in an individual, and even though you have not started your career in product management, you can actually still transition into product management, because it's like it's a career path that doesn't really have a university degree to it. It's just now a lot of maybe some schools, maybe not really federal schools, but some schools are now beginning to inculcate it as a learning part in their curriculum. But because it's something that people have to read and learn and like transfer skills into, so it's not necessary that you have some sort of degree to be able to transfer it. You can actually transition into product management. So yeah, gain certifications, attend boot camps, attend hackathons, attend fellowships, to be able to equip yourself with all the necessary information you need to become relevant and stand out in the product management field. So I'm going to show you the actual roadmap of someone who transitioned into product management. The first, what I will define as, because it wasn't like a full month, so it was just like a 2 days hackathon. This person attended a hackathon for 2 days, and that's why I'm calling it month 0, because nothing really happened. It's not like a duration. So attending this hackathon, what was this person able to do? Networked with people, came out and spoke during hackathon, presented for the group, showed transferable skills even while the hackathon. And guess what? This person emerged as one of the like first runner-ups during the hackathon. So that visibility alone was enough to help this person to like gain some sort of like credibility within that little space where they were. Month 1 to 3, attended a boot camp. So boot camps are also helpful. You could like meet people interest. You meet people that are in the industry that could like talk to you and like guide you and coach you on the necessary skills and expertise you need to like grow and learn in the industry. So month 1 to 3 was a boot camp. Month 4 to 6 after the boot camp, so during this you have to begin to prepare yourself to apply to learn either as an in or as a volunteer, whatever beginner role you find yourself in. So between month 4 to 6, this 3 months duration, this person was able to intern as a PM. And how did this person get this internship job? It was from networking at the hackathon. So you had met people at the hackathon, people that are already in the industry, people that are established, and now they are done with your bootcamp because a lot of people just relax, don't pursue that, and you know that might just be the end of your career path in the product management. So the next was to like leverage the skills of networking that existed during hackathon, reached out to mentors that was met during the hackathon, and went through an interview process and got internship role at a company. And that internship experience, during that internship experience, you also have to prove your skills, transferable skills that are always there and useful, even if you are still new in the product management environment. So after that, the company's products that this person was working on, they had finished their contract with that company where this person had interned, and now they wanted to like hire a product manager. And because this person had to intern on that task and on job and on that product, they reach out to the person. Okay, we need an intern. Can you? Are you interested in it? And of course, with good communication and relationship building with both the intern company and the external company, this person was able to secure that job role as a product manager. So if you are actually strategic, you can create a roadmap that you would use to transition into product management. And to be honest with you, you can get a job within 6 months because this is an actual story, a real life story I'm telling you. So my advice to you, map out a strategy for yourself. Product managers are critical thinkers, so you should be able to come up with strategies, and you have to be very strategic. Something I did mention during this bootcamp, this person volunteered to be the class rep of that bootcamp. So that's strategic to be visible. You can't just be like you are trying to transition from one place to another and you are just like quiet. No, you have to take deliberate steps to be able to move. Even the networking. So at month 0, you went for a hackathon, and you are coming back 4 months later to say you want to intern. That means within month 0 and month 4, there was relationship building between this person and the company where, or the person in that company where they eventually got internship. So you're quite strategic. And I would advise that today you create your own roadmap, a proposed roadmap for yourself to say, okay, I'm giving myself 6 months, I'm giving myself 1 year. I want to, within this period, be able to transition into product management. And I kid you not, you must be able to learn. You can't just say, I want to be a product manager and you just jump into it. You need to go in and even when you still need to be training. We read books every day. I always on the internet reading. There's always one resource or one new book or something. You just have to stay on top of your game and become a better PM wherever you are. So we bring it to a close here. We are now at the Q&A and wrap up. So do you have any questions? Do you have any takeaway you've gotten from the session? What steps do you think, if there's one step you need to take to help you project yourself into the product management journey, what's that one step you think you will take from today? So please, let's have people speak. Let's hear from you. The mic is open, so please, you can go ahead. This is the interaction and Q&A session period.
Hello, everybody. Please, if you have a question, just signify. If you have something to say, just raise up your hands, and we'll call you. Okay, we have Rose Oluwatife. Please, open your mic and ask a question.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
From the training or the teaching, I'm going back to communication. You said we should make a clear and effective collaboration, and then probably like we should make sure that our target audience, we have something like a survey so that we can improve more on our products and everything like that. What if in the aspect that probably your target audience, I won't say over maturity, but they're not the type that speak out. Even when you run a survey, answering those questions is like a problem or something like that. What will you do? Like, what can someone do? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me ask a question. Are these people, are they like do they use technology often? Are they people that are conversant with technology?
To some extent, I think they are.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand their purpose. Is it they are so occupied that they don't respond to surveys, or what is the exact problem?
I think most times that's their excuse. So, but if they don't answer the survey, there's no how one can know where one is lagging behind to work more or to improve on a certain skill or product.
Okay, so I understand your question. Thanks for the question. So I'll give you a real life example. I've worked with people that are working in the marketplace. These people that go to Mile 12, Ajah Market, and the rest. They don't have my time. They don't have time to be filling surveys. So what do I do? Typically in the mornings, they have their planning or this stand-up meeting or whatever. As early as 8 a.m., I have to be there. If I get there before some of them, and as they're coming in, I've already interacted with the team leader. Hey, I want to do a survey. So I will be with the Google form in my phone, and I'll be talking to them and filling it myself, put their name, put their details, fill it myself, because I just have to get information from you, whether you are a user that likes technology or not. I have to get information. So you need to understand your kind of user, because like these people are not people that want to sit down and be answering surveys and doing all those things. So if the mountain will know, I mean, if Mohammed will not go to the mountain, or if the mountain will not come to Mohammed, then Mohammed has to go to the mountain. So I think that's just one way you can approach it. And sometimes, it's a survey, but you are conducting it like an interview. So make it like an interaction, like, but as they are speaking, they are taking note of what they are saying. You don't necessarily need to have a recorder in their face, because not everybody is comfortable with that. But as they are speaking, you are taking notes, you are like, in fact, they'll even be telling you things you don't need to hear. But you're having conversation, and then you're feeling it. Okay, this is this is the information I need. You're feeling it. Before you know, you'll be able to get this information that you need. So I think that might be one way to approach those kind of people. All right, is that clear? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I'm going to be calling the next name now. We have Ukachi Amike. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for the host. Thanks a lot. In what ways have you utilized AI in your day-to-day activities?
Okay, as a product manager.
Yes, please.
All right. So I use AI, and I'll say it's really a helper. And so for things like documentation, so sometimes you're documenting, you're trying to create maybe product requirement documents, and you're possibly stuck. You know what you want, but you just have the buzzword and keywords in your head. It's not quite structured out. So you can just like ask any AI partner that you trust or any AI tool you trust. You can ask like, okay, I'm trying to create a product requirement document. My users are. You can make it sound. It could sound local, but you know how AI will help you refine your response and structure it out properly for you. So I think in like doing things like even as little as completing a user story. Sometimes like I'm writing a user story, I know that okay, as a user, I want to that sometimes it might just be the right words you need, and AI is able to help you to complete that sentence. You can put it in AI and then get it out. Sometimes, you really have to vet what AI is saying because they're not really realistic. So you can also like give more information to say, no, this is not what I mean. These are the kind of users I am referring to. This is what I want. Like, get more information. You can even tell AI, research on the internet and give me this information. But however, I don't like to just fully rely on AI because it can't do everything. So you also need to like put your own touch to whatever it's doing. But I think for documentation, AI really helps to like help you like produce the documents faster so that when you have those brain freeze moments, it just helps you to like fill in the gap. Yeah, that's my answer to your question. Or do you still need any? If it's not, if you still have other things you would like to me to touch on, you can give more details.
Oh, no, that's fine. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okachi. We have BBC Nelson. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I really appreciate the training for today. My question is about the skills of a PM. I just want to find out with my basic computer skills, like maybe Excel and stuff, can one excel in PM with basic computer knowledge? So that's just my question. I don't know. Yeah, I just want to find out.
Yes. So anyone can actually transition into product management. And so if you say you have Excel skills, it means that you must have some level of data interpretation to be able to like help you make decisions. Because I know with Excel you are working with data and all that. So you might want to like focus on the data interpretation side because as a PM, if you are not working with data, then you're not really a PM. You have to be able to look at the data and say, okay, this is what the data is saying, or this is what this trend is saying. So with Excel, so you can do things like trends, understand more about trend analysis. I remember there was a time where I think I was doing a research on paying for school fees abroad, and there was a trend where I think when inflation hits, there was a trend where people that were going abroad with was declining. You will get all those. So there are some other tools you use on the internet to like give you information. So you will get the trend to see that okay, this year 2023 or 2024. Now that there's a lot of inflation in Nigeria, the trend of people that are japping to abroad is reducing because there's inflation and people cannot afford it. So, however, late 2023 to 2024, the trend started picking up. Like it's like people just recovered from the shock of inflation and the users began to start like going outside, like going to school outside Nigeria, and of course, they would also have to pay for their tuition. So those are data. Those are also data points you collect from the internet, and then you have to interpret it. So yes, with Excel, it's very important that like you are not just like doing the old Excel formulas, but you're able to understand what is this data saying so that it can guide you. And then the other areas where you have not really like brushed up yourself, every PM you have to continuously learn. You can't run away from it. Like I'm always still on the internet reading, I'm always still reading one book or another. You just have to keep on learning and improving on yourself. So it's something that I believe that even you that uses Excel can transition into. All right, thanks for the question.
Thank Okay. Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions, please? Okay, looks like we don't. Okay, Blessing Steven, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Um, Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so much for the lecture. Please, mine is not really a question because I was jotting down the notes while our teacher was teaching us. So I wondered, I missed some part on the career pathways in product management. I missed part of the plate. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so okay. Okay, yeah. So I said that for career pathways, there are basically two ways to get into, or two entry categories into product management. So it's either you're a newbie, maybe fresh from school, or you're someone that's been working before, and now you find this as an interesting career lane you want to switch into. So some strategies you can use are like learn courses, take courses, get certifications, join communities, attend hackathons, network with people, leverage on your transferable skills. We just spoke about someone who said he's good at Excel. So leverage on those skills, and yeah, eventually you can transition into product management. So there's a ladder that associate PM role, which is entry role into going to chief product officer role. Yeah, I gave an actual roadmap of someone who actually transitioned and the strategy they used. And yeah, that's how you can, if you're a transitioner, you can actually try to adopt the strategy or come up with your own strategy to transition.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please, for those of us who maybe missed some parts of the training, we're going to be sharing this the recording of this with you, and your facilitator is already in your group as well, so you can ask questions in the group about this. Thank you very much, Miss Favour Kadri. You all will agree with me that she went above and beyond. I mean, we can all agree beyond reasonable doubt that she did such an amazing job. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I, for one, was really impacted, and I believe each and every one of us here were. So we're also going to be having a product management boot camp, where you can learn to be a professional product manager, but that would be sometime in February, and this is just a preparatory class. That would be a paid class. So for those of us that are interested in that, we will be dropping more information about the bootcamp in your group. So you can ask all of the questions that you need to ask, all of the details. You can register if you're interested. I think it's going to be around 150K for 3 months. It's a virtual class. For those interested in product management, I believe you wouldn't actually want to miss that. In the space of 3 months, going by the roadmap that your facilitator has given, you can see that in the space of 3 to 6 months, you can actually begin a career in product management, but that actually begins with learning. This class was meant to be fundamental, but Miss Kadri did justice, beyond justice to this. So thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you to each and every one of you for staying till the end and paying attention to the class. You're going to be getting more information about that in your group. Ask questions, communicate in your group. Remember, it is very, very important for you to create a community for yourself. Your facilitator also mentioned that. Use the opportunity, seize the opportunity of the fact that you are actually in a closed group with like minds, and in a closed group with like minds, and network with them. It's a God's gift. You can take over now.
All right, thank you very much, Favour Kadri, for this amazing session. We can't thank you enough. It was really detailed, very impactful, and I'm sure after this session, a lot of us here, we definitely go back home to our drawing board and set 2025 right as regards to becoming a PM, right? So thank you very much for that time, for taking time out of your busy schedule to handle this for us. Thank you very much. Right. So, for those that are interested in starting their journey to becoming a PM, starting with CareerLeap, of course, is one of the things or the first steps you want to actually put in your goal for 2025. And we are not just going to be training you on just just having an idea about what it is. It's actually an in-depth training where at the end of the training, you are going to be given products to undo. You're going to, like Favour mentioned, you being a PM is not about just having the head knowledge. It's about having a practical knowledge or experience as regarding that. Right. At the end of the training, the 3 months training we're going to be having with you, right? Some people are going to be given internship opportunities. We're going to have an hackathon where we merge different individuals from different courses like product design, software engineering, UI UX. That's product design, and of course this PM. So you guys come together, come up with a tech idea that is marketable, right? Then we can invest or we can even help in pushing that product out. But never can tell how that product is going to get to or where it's going to get to, right? Until you join. So our training is open for you all to join. And this training, this 3 months boot camp, it's a CSR initiative of CareerLeap. So normally, if you are to learn about PM, product management, typically you pay about, say, 500 to 600, depending on the organization, sometimes even 1 million to learn this. But of course, we at CareerLeap, we are making this as affordable as much as possible. It's a 3 month boot camp, 3 months for the training. Then we have an additional 2 months where we train you on how to market your skill. We train you on how to go to market. We train you on and also have this hackathon like I told you about, right? So that's the thing we are planning for everyone that's going to be joining. And just to add to this, of course, the training costs 150,000 naira for the 3 months. So there's an installment available for you paying 50,000 naira per month. So we've made it very, very flexible. Like I said, it's a CSR initiative. Opportunities like these don't come quite often. So you want to seize the opportunity now so that at the end of 2025, you know that something actually happened in your career and you're able to do something or make more money for yourself, you know. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining once again. The link for you to register will be sent to the WhatsApp group. I believe that has already been sent. So please only fill the form if you are interested. If you're not interested, please don't fill the form. And if you don't have the money to start, then you are not for us. We are only focused on people that understand the importance of committing something to achieve something at the end of the day, right? So thank you very much, everyone. Samira, over to you. And thanks again, Favour.
Okay, you can connect with Favour on LinkedIn. She has shared her LinkedIn profile. You can also search her name on LinkedIn. There's a distortion somewhere, please.
All right, thank you, everyone. Stop sharing now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, guys, that brings us to the end of this training. Let us appreciate this Favour by, flying around with reactions in the comments,